Hello, it's Richard at Richard's Guitars. Make sure we're working, which I believe we are. Yeah, today I want to talk to you about buying your first guitar. It's an area that clearly needs to be discussed, and in another video I've discussed, I think, about buying electroacoustic guitars, but this is more of an all-encompassing guide to buying your first guitar, and really tips and advice more than a kind of a shortlist. And I'll explain why concepts like shortlists are a total waste of time. Something that I see an awful lot of when I'm looking at the internet and seeing how products are advertised is the concept of you might, if you Google now best starter guitar or guitar advice for beginners, you'll tend to find that the results dominated by top 10 guides of guitars for beginners. Now, I've got a major issue with that because there is no stereotype, there is no one guitar that suits all who are starting out on guitar. There's an awful lot of presumptions that are being made when you see a list of 10 guitars all aimed at beginners. There is generally a perception that somebody who's starting out wants to spend very little money. Now, that is a total fallacy as far as I'm concerned. It may well be that your particular circumstances are that you don't want to spend a lot of money right now, so that's absolutely fine. So it might be that you've got a young child getting started. They're going to need one set of advice. It may be that the young child hasn't even shown any interest in playing the guitar, but the teacher at school has suggested they need a guitar, so then you channel them down one route. Or it certainly gives you ideas of what route to go down. It may be that the child is still very young but has shown a great interest in playing the guitar, and you're thinking, you know what, I think they're going to stick at this. So maybe a slightly different route. You may want to invest a little bit more money, and I can chat to you about the pros and cons of doing that. It may be that the guitar is for someone who is older, maybe in their 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s. Every single one of those people will have a different set of circumstances going on in their life, and they will have different interests, different budget. So it really is a very, very personal process. And what I suggest to people is, do not follow if you see a list of top 10 guitars for beginners, just throw it away, because it just means that is a trashy kind of concept to sell you a product. It's not going to help you. If you want real help, click on my live chat. I'm inside this screen, but I actually exist in real life too, and I existed many years before YouTube began. And I've been doing this now, as of the release of this video, would be 24 and something years. I've been studying guitars for, well, I started playing when I was 8 years old. I've been doing this, recommending guitars, for 24 years. And every single guitar that we ever sell is hand finished, it's set up. There's a whole process that if you've never heard the word setup before, which you may not have done because you could be a beginner you may have just Googled, this might be the first time you've seen me, hello. You think, who's this nutter waving his arms around? But all I can do is sincerely tell you, you can trust my advice, and if you go to my website, rguitars.co.uk, you can click on my chat. I have a live chat, and it'll be me. It won't be some guy in the Far East pretending to be me. It'll be me on my live chat, and I can just listen to what your needs are. And then we tailor the first guitar to your needs. So that's how it works. So I want to cover a few stereotypes and and give you some pointers in terms of what I think of those kind of, because it's a very confusing time when you're buying your first guitar, because there will be a number of people. Even I look at videos and I see the advice that's given, and I've seen advice for 3 different types of guitar. Well, 2 of them I've got in front of me here to reach. So for example, This one here. Now this is a great example, because this isn't just a nylon string guitar, this is a hybrid nylon string guitar. And the reason why it's called a nylon string guitar is because the strings are made out of nylon, and it has that kind of very soft sound. So that's a nylon string guitar. But this particular nylon string guitar has a narrower neck. Normally, nylon or classical guitars have thicker, wider necks. A lot of people don't like that, and more people are turning towards what we call hybrid guitars. A classical kind of someone who's a bit of a kind of purist may not like the hybrid guitar, but somebody might have small hands. You know, so this is what we'd do, is we'd find not just a nylon string guitar for somebody who wants that kind of sound, but the right nylon string guitar. If you wanted to cover more, so that would be more like your classical guitar styles, then your steel string, this is your steel string acoustic guitar. And there you hear that big, lovely open sound. And then, great for strumming around the campfire, as we say, big open chords, nice. And this is what a lot of people play these days, acoustic guitar. With steel strings. Now some people will say to you, oh, you must start with a nylon string guitar because they're nice and soft on the fingers. The first thing I would say to you is, as we do, if a guitar is properly set up, it's hand finished, a lot of work goes into the guitar to prime it, to make it play better, you do not need to worry about the strings hurting your fingers. If the strings hurt your fingers ongoing, that is a major problem, because you've probably bought maybe all guitars can play badly. So again, don't think, well, just because I'm spending £500 or £600, it's guaranteed to play really well. That just is not the case. It just simply isn't the case. I wouldn't be as busy as I am doing what I do if people could just spend more and get a much better playing guitar. It just is not the case. You can be lucky with a £50 guitar. You can buy a £50 guitar that plays beautifully. It's just that you'll find more bad ones than good ones. And just like you can spend £1,000 on a guitar and find one that plays beautifully. And you should get more good ones than bad ones, but the bad ones will still be there. Because the guitars are made out of wood and there's metal inside there. Wood and metal don't really like each other too much, so adjustments are maybe necessary and movement can occur naturally through weather, temperature changes and that kind of thing. So, let me not go too far off track. So that's a steel string guitar. Now, you might be wanting an electric guitar. And the electric guitar you have to plug in to get a decent sound out of it into an amplifier. So there's a couple of purchases that need to be made with an electric guitar. All these different variations, which one is right for you? It's a really simple answer. As far as I'm concerned, the answer is really, really simple. What do you see yourself doing? What do you see yourself, or what do you enjoy listening to? Almost certainly, if you thought about playing the guitar, you must have heard something that inspired you. Think about the kind of music that inspires you. Do not ever, now this is the first time you met me, you'll know I'm big into positive thinking, okay? Never think, I won't get that kind of guitar because I'll never be able to play that kind of music. So let's say it's a bit of rock guitar. Oh yeah, that guy, you've put this chap on a pedestal, he's up there and you're down here and you're like, oh, I'm 50 years old and oh, that's beyond me. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll get a little classical guitar and I'll play nylon strings into my retirement one day. That's totally pointless. It's kind of like, you know, it's the most negative start to your ambitious career you could ever imagine. You've just basically said that you're not capable of doing it right from the outset. You'll be amazed how many people say that to me. I won't have that style of guitar because I just won't be able to play it. It might be a classical guitar, it might be the opposite. You might think, oh gosh, that John Williams piece that I heard, absolutely fantastic, but I'll never be able to do that. So I'll get myself a steel string acoustic guitar and play a few chords. It's so wrong. You must learn to play the guitar that inspires you. So, have a little think about it. Think about what it is you want to play. Again, you'd be surprised how many people come and see me say they want to play guitar, but then they say, well, it's a bit of an open canvas at the moment. I'm quite open for your advice. This is what they'll say. They, oh, I'm kind of looking for some guidance, and I want you to tell me which guitar I should buy. And you've got to take control yourself. You think about what you want. What do you want to play? I will then help guide you. Yeah, if you say to me, yeah, hi Rich, I'm after that this might not necessarily mean anything to you, but I'm after a 7-string rock guitar with a Floyd Rose trem. I might say to you, okay, and you say, well, I like Steve Vai and I'm into that. I might go, okay, well, here is what you've chosen, and that's probably a really good point to pick up on. There might be guitars that you say that you're interested in that are less suitable for a beginner starting out, and that's an interesting point. Rather than what is the top list of beginner guitars, it's more of a case of what guitars aren't quite so suitable for a beginner. That's more of a viable list almost. So, and maybe I'll do a video on that. So like I said, you know, a 7-string rock guitar, you know, with a Floyd Rose trem, I'm not going to go into the detail now, but that might give you a whole heap of pain if you're not used to tuning that style of guitar, you know, an extra string involved. But there is an argument to say, if you heard a 7-piece rock guitar piece, it could only be played on a 7-string, and you want to make it your goal to play that piece and it needs a Floyd Rose trem, we'll talk about it. Maybe it's the right thing because it inspires you and gets you playing. There would be nothing worse than having a guitar sat in the corner of the room that, okay, here's a lovely kind of guitar that I love, little sort of arch top, this one's called an AR405 Eastman, great for a little bit of acoustic. Lovely, just sit, I can sit. I could just sit there and noodle on this all day long. But some people would hate that guitar. You know what I mean? You know, it's just not the right guitar for someone. It could be the right guitar for you. So, what else? So I think we're covering it. You know, you need advice. You need to sort of talk to somebody, hopefully me, about what guitar suits you for your particular needs. There'll be lots and lots of scenarios of. Oh, I want to cover a quick one for young beginners. Things that I'd like to get out of my system include schools that tell you to go to Argos and buy some cheap, crappy classical guitar, half-size guitar. Your daughter or your son is 10 years old and they tell you to go out and buy a half-size, 3/4 size guitar from Argos. It's total rubbish. What they're doing is they're basically saying, we want a one-size-fits-all solution for all children. We don't want any jealousy in the classroom. We don't want, you know, Joe Bloggs to have something and the other one to not have it, because it creates, you know, it creates division potentially, jealousy. My argument to you would be, think of your son or your daughter. They could be about to embark on a really exciting, wonderful journey of playing the guitar, and you might actually be about to destroy it by following inept kind of advice that is completely ill thought out. It really upsets me when, you know, I get a 10-year-old lad that comes in, you know, he's half the size of me, and his mom and dad have got a letter from the school saying, oh, Argos, you know. So basically, and then, you know, the model code, and you go, well, that's just, you know, it's just going to go out of tune. Nylon string guitars actually tend to go out of tune much easier anyway, but a guitar that's 40, 50 pounds will go out of tune much more often. The likelihood of you having a guitar that plays well is much, much lower. So I'm not a fan of the cheap, nasty guitars getting started on, although it gives the school a simple, you know, and it gives all the families accessibility to the guitar playing because it's cheaper. But they should be building some kind of links with proper specialists who can give people advice, like what the advice I'm trying to give you now. So that's one thing I'd say. If your son has or daughter shows signs of wanting to play electric guitar, encourage them. Let them have an electric guitar. This brings me on to another one. How many times have I seen a child come into my shop and say, "Oh, Daddy, that guitar over there is amazing." And he's looking at some black electric guitar, rock and roll, eyes lit up. Well, son, when you've proven yourself and you've shown Mommy and Daddy that you're going to stick to this, we'll think about buying that electric guitar. Now, they think they're doing the right thing. They think they're doing the right thing because they want that child to prove themselves to their parents. So in the meantime, they're going to buy them an acoustic guitar, so that they can, which is probably going to be cheaper. I really believe it's a false economy. My view is, let's say for example, let's give an example, the acoustic guitar is £100 and the electric guitar package with everything involved, let's say it's £200 even. That electric guitar, let's say he gives up in 6 months. You want to sell it on. Let's say you can sell it for 120 quid. Okay? Let's just think, look, you're not going to get all your money back on it. You want to clear it quick. You're going to get 120 quid. You're going to get more than half your money, but about 120 of 200, I'd say, on anything you buy, really. So that's 80 quid. It's cost you £80 over 6 months. Now, I'm not going to do the math. 12, 6, 72, 12, 7, really more, £6. About £6.70? No, what am I saying? £12, 12, 12, 6, 72. £12.60 or something like that. Let's just say £12.60. I don't know what it is. Tell me, maths below. What's that? So it's cost you about £12.60, 70 or something like that per month to, ignore the maths, Rich, ignore it. It doesn't matter, Rich. Right. It's cost you about £12 something a month to basically rent that product that has been set up beautifully, that was inspirational to the youngster who wanted it. You've given them every single opportunity to make a go of this project. If you buy the cheaper guitar at £100 and they want to keep playing, well, let's look at both sides. Let's say they don't carry on playing because they didn't get the right guitar that inspired them, because these are two very different sounding guitars. Hopefully you're getting the idea of what I'm saying. It's sometimes an idea to invest in the right thing at the right time, get that spark and run with it, than kind of potentially quelling that enthusiasm because we're trying to save a bit of money to see if little Johnny carries on playing, or little Sarah carries on playing. Let's not test them, let's inspire them and let's get them going. That's my idea anyway, that's my thoughts on it. And if they give up, well, then you've got to sell that guitar, and you've kind of, it's what I call the self-fulfilling prophecy. You think they may give up, so they do actually give up. If you think positive, they're more likely to carry on, in my opinion. But if they do want to carry on, you've still got to go and buy that other guitar they wanted originally, so it's costing you even more. So if you work on the basis that they're going to carry on playing, don't cut corners, just get straight in there. Sensible budget, that's what we would talk about. I'm not here to sell you up. If you know anyone that knows me, you'll see I sell people down. 95% of my life I'm saying, oh, and you can get this one a bit cheaper, you can get this. This will do the job without having to spend all that money on that. I'm not here to try and get you to spend too much. I'm saying, for goodness sake, just be kind of, invest in the kids. Invest in the kids, get them going on something decent. Which brings me to another little point. The cheaper you go in price for a starter guitar, so if we are going to now talk about that zone that everyone tends to focus on for beginners, someone like me, a specialist like us, we hand finish every guitar. Every single guitar has the fret ends, the nut slots, things you may not have heard of before, intonation, everything. We put at least an hour into every guitar that goes out the door. Okay, a load of work goes into every single guitar and it improves it no end. The cheaper the guitar, the more, even more significant you could argue. Well, it depends which way you look at it. You could argue someone spending £2,000 on a guitar, it would be criminal for it to not play to perfection, so we've got even more pressure to make it play to the best it can be. Someone who's buying a guitar for a cheaper price, well, then there's a lot more sort of work that potentially is doing on a guitar that we're making basically very little money on. So we can only help down to a certain price. Once you get to a certain price, I do say just look, you know, you kind of use the Argus system. Anyway, oh, by the way, the reason why I call it the Argus system, what I'm saying is, if you are on a tighter budget, and I'm talking 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds, it's unlikely I could help you with a guitar at that price. But if you are someone looking at a budget of that kind of price, my advice is to go to Argus, because you'll deal with people behind the counter that aren't there to sort of fight the corner. If you take it back, you know, they'll just take it back. So I tend to recommend, buy the guitar, take it to your teacher, see how he feels about it. If the action is pretty shoddy and it's not doing the right job, just take it back, ask for a replacement. You could probably do that a couple of times. Argus won't thank me for this, but you could probably do that a couple of times with Argus and they won't bat an eyelid. Just say it's not fit. I've had a teacher, they explained to me that it isn't really working, and they'll swap it over for you. I'll guarantee it, because there's nobody that care. You know, it's just they're doing their job. It's customer service. They care. They want to help you. They want to get it swapped. If you go to a kind of an independent shop and do that, you might just find someone behind the counter saying, look mate, you're spending 60 quid, 50 quid on a guitar. We can't just keep swapping these over. If you want a better guitar, you know, you get involved in a slightly embarrassing confrontation that isn't what you want at all. You just want to get your child the best opportunity for their very first guitar at a young age. So that's what I recommend on the budget side. So okay, that's my overview of the simple answer is click on my live chat. Go to my live chat on my website. Speak to me. I'm here to help, and I can help tailor the right guitar for you and your needs. So I'm looking forward to helping you. I hope I can. Okay, cheers. Okay, bye bye.